Hey there, this video is to help you work through the classification activity worksheet for lesson 5.03. When you come down into the class landing page and you get to module 5, let me refresh here because it should be here. Try this again. There we go. You're going to see right now there are 3 different listings for lesson 5.03. The first one is the textbook lesson pages that you should make sure that you spend time reading through and doing all of the activities in them. The second one is the forced Google Doc for this assignment. If you choose to use that, you can go ahead and open that. Click on that tab. There will be a link for you to create a copy of the document itself. And once you've done that, the very first thing I want you to do when you get to this screen, if you're using the forced Google Doc, is to come up to that share button and make sure you put in Kristen Lohoff, that's me, by putting in my name in the shared access and clicking done. I'll be able to grade your work. Otherwise, you might get feedback with a 0 that says, sorry, I can't see it. You need to give me privileges and share it with me. And then the final little tab that you're going to see for 5.03 is what we call the submission page. That's where you turn in your work. So once you finish the activity worksheet, or if you choose to use a different document, that's fine. All you need to do is come up here to the address bar, copy that address, and then on this submission page right here, I'm going to open it up and there's a comment section. Go ahead and paste that address in the comment section and submit your work. That process is the same for turning in work for any class. So let's take a look at this activity. The instructions say read each myth or untruth. A myth is something that is not true. You need to reword that myth to make it a factual statement. Then you need to give 2 or 3 reasons why the myth is untrue. Use complete sentences and support your answer with evidence. Using your own words. Don't just copy paste from the lesson pages. You need to use your own words also. So they give you an example. The first one, they list the myth. A dead organism is the same as a non-living thing in science. Now, you might consider it to be the same, but science terminology does not consider it to be the same. And the fact is that a dead organism is not the same as a non-living thing in science. So where am I going to find this evidence? Well, they've given me a hint. You can find it in lesson 5.03, and that will help you explain why this fact is true. So down below, you're going to see 1 myth, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to come up with your own myth about the classification of organisms. You can go ahead and use Google to come up with a different idea, then give some reasons why that myth is untrue. All right, so first, a dead organism is the same as a non-living thing in science. Sound familiar? It was the example. So they've already given you the factual statement. You really only need to copy and paste that below for the fact. But now the evidence, well, they gave you a hint. They said, look in lesson 5.03. So for all of these, go back into the lesson and look for information about that. So here we go, 5.03. I've already gone to page 2 because I'm saving time. This is where they talked about the characteristics of living and non-living things. And if I scroll down to the bottom, it's making sure I'm doing all of my reading. Right here it says, what's the difference between non-living and dead? Well, things that are non-living never had the characteristics of life, and they never will. Things that are dead once did have characteristics of life, but when they died, they lost some of those characteristics. So in science, dead is not the same as non-living. A rock is non-living because it never had characteristics of life, but a fallen tree is dead. It was once living. And a moose, if it's alive, is living. So that's what you need to come back and figure out a way to write that in your own words right here. Myth number 2 says the Linnaeus system of classification will always stay the same. Go back into the lesson, find out where they talk about the Linnaeus system of classification. What is the fact about that system? Number 3, tigers and goldfish are not related. That is a myth. They are actually related in some ways. As crazy as it may seem, what is the fact? Where can you find evidence of that? Number 4, an organism's kingdom only describes physical characteristics. That is a myth. Where in this lesson can you find about what the kingdom uses to describe what characteristics are described in the kingdoms? Number 5, mammals and plants don't belong in the same domain. What is the actual fact? And then give the proof that you can find in the lesson. Now this last one is really challenging. So if you've stuck with me and you've listened to everything that I have said, this is kind of like bonus points. Can you come up with your own myth about the classification of organisms? If you didn't watch my video, you won't know that this is bonus points. Maybe you'll do it anyway. I don't know. But a lot of you, I think, are going to find this super challenging. Go ahead and Google some different myths about the classification of organisms. That can be your search right there, that phrase. See what kind of myths they come up with, find the fact, list some evidence. This will give you extra points. If you have any questions, remember, you can always reach out to me by email, book an appointment, or leave me a voice message. I am here to help you. Bye.